Good morning, pilgrims. This morning I want to talk a little bit about booking Roncesvalles if you start in St. Jean-Pied-de-Port. In the past, people have said you don't need to book a bed, just go. And in the past that has been true, but things have changed. Um, the Camino has become super busy. I don't know if it's a fad. I don't know if it's because during COVID people had a chance to sit at home and get on the computer and they discovered it. I'm not sure what it is, but what I do know, maybe cabin fever, what I do know is it's going to be crazy busy. And in the past 2 or 3 years, several times when I've arrived at Roncesvalles albergue, I've seen people in the foyer crying because it's full and there are no beds. They expected to get a bed and there are no beds. Borda ahead is a very small village, no beds there. No beds in Zubiri, no beds in Roncesvalles, and so people had to take a bus or a taxi to Pamplona, and they weren't very happy. So I strongly suggest that you book the first few places, that you book St. Jean-Pied-de-Port, that you book either Orison or Borda, that you book Roncesvalles, that you book either Zubiri or Roncesvalles. Once you get to Pamplona, the bottleneck opens up and you should be fine just to go. And as long as you arrive, I'd say before 2 p.m. in the afternoon, in most villages you'll get a bed. So how do you do that? I'm going to walk you through it a little bit, and I'm going to start with Roncesvalles. In Saint Jean-Pied-de-Port, all you need to do is get on booking.com and find a place and book it. Orison, you need to get on their website and email them. Right now is winter. There's probably nobody there, so it's going to take some time for you to get a response. Borda has a Facebook page where you can go, and they usually respond very quickly. And then Roncesvalles is the next big one, and that's the one I'm going to walk you through now. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to the website, which is alberguederoncesvalles.com, and I'll post that up ahead. I'm going to take some screenshots and post them. What you'll end up is you'll end up at this website, which says Oriega/Roncesvalles Pilgrim Hostel. And along the top, it'll say hostel services, COVID-19, bookings, contact, and location. And go ahead and explore those if you want. And then there's a big blue block that says book your bed. So you want to click on book your bed. This is how you make an online reservation. And it'll be confirmed when you make payment, and that's where some people have had problems. So read the cancellation policy, and then read what it says to you. You have to have an ID or a passport at the time of entry. You can't show up without a passport. They won't let you in. In fact, that's true in most places in Spain. You have to carry your passport with you. We've talked about that in a different video. The hostel closes at 10 p.m. Even if you have a reservation, if you show up after 10 p.m., they are not going to open the doors. You're going to sleep outside on a bench. So be aware you're not in America where you can call the police or sue somebody. If the doors are locked, you're not going in. That's all there is to it. A few years ago, I had a pilgrim traveling with me who didn't show up until about 15 minutes before 10. And I asked them, well, what'll happen if she doesn't show up? I was afraid she was lost on the mountain. And they just shrugged their shoulders. If you're not there, it's your problem. So arrive before 10. You have a maximum stay of 1 night there. And if you have a group and you want group reservations, it gives you an email that you can contact. You can also use this contact email if this reservation page doesn't work for you. But try it first. So at the reservation page, you're going to see this. Let me take a screenshot and post this. First is arrival day in the little square, and sometimes this doesn't work for people. You click on it and a little calendar will open. Today's Tuesday, 11 January 2022. And remember, in Spain, they don't go January 11, they go 11 January. So look for the date and click on it. If it doesn't work, and sometimes they don't, then you can put the date in. But remember, if you're putting the date in as May 1st, you don't say 5/1, you say 01/05/2022. Okay, just bear that in mind. So put in the date that you want to sleep there. And then they want your reservation email, so put your email in there. They want your surname, which is your last name, in case you don't know that, and the number of places requested. They give you 4 different choices for accommodation. Accommodation only is 14 euros. So that's if all you want is a bed and you're going to feed yourself, 14 euros. Accommodation and dinner is 14 euros plus 11 euros. Okay. Accommodation and breakfast is 14 plus 5. And if you want full board, which is accommodation, dinner, and breakfast, it's 14 plus 16. Now, what do I suggest? What I suggest is that you book your bed and dinner and skip breakfast. So your choices for breakfast are this. They have a cafeteria or a kitchen, and in that kitchen they have machines where you can get machine food. Not really great, okay? Even the coffee is out of a machine. There is Casa Sabina and La Posada, the 2 hotel restaurants there, where you could have breakfast if you want, and they're probably pretty good breakfasts. If you're an early eater, that would be a good option. However, I usually like to get on the road a little bit and have my coffee down the way. I usually carry little packets of instant coffee so I could have a coffee one in the morning right before I leave that I make myself. And then down the road in one of the villages like Borda, Espinal, Viscaret, there are a lot of places where you can stop for breakfast and get a good breakfast. So my suggestion is that you wait and get breakfast on the way. There's also a grocery store on the way where you can pick up picnic food not too long after you leave Roncesvalles. So I just usually book bed and dinner. Now, as far as dinner, when you arrive, they're going to ask you, do you want to eat at La Posada or do you want to eat at Casa Sabina? Here are the differences. The food's going to be the same. You're going to get a choice of trout, which is local trout, and it's exceptionally good, or probably pasta, which will be like a macaroni with a sauce on it. You'll also get an ensalada mixta, you'll get bread, you'll get wine. It's pretty much the same at both places. Here's the difference. The difference is at Casa Sabina, every time I've eaten there, they put you at a table for 4, and they're really crowded in there, the tables. So you'll be eating with 3 other pilgrims. At La Posada, they put you at a bigger table for 8 or more. So if you're interested in meeting a lot of pilgrims, plus there's more space between the tables, if you're a bit claustrophobic and you're interested in meeting more pilgrims, you'll want to go to La Posada. You won't find that out until you arrive. When you arrive, they'll give you a dinner ticket. Your other choice is going to be, what time do you want dinner? Do you want the early dinner or the late dinner? Personally, I always get the early dinner because I like to go to the Pilgrim's Mass and I want to make sure I make it. I believe if you take the later dinner, you can also make the Pilgrim's Mass, but I'm not sure enough to do that, so I always take the early dinner. Anyway, so that's that. Those are your choices. So let me see, what else? Let's go back to the website and take a look. It's taking my... Okay, so then they have a place for observations if you have anything to say. I don't know, you might, if you're injured or have some problem, you might request a lower bunk. Really, I don't know what you might say to them. If you have questions, you might put it here. Then there's a little place where you accept the reservation conditions and the cancellation policy, and you accept the RGPD conditions, and I have no idea what that is, if that has to do with COVID or what. And then you click send. Right now it's winter. They're probably not staffed as heavily as they usually are, so it may take a while before you get some kind of a confirmation back. I would write down the email address, which is info@alberguederoncesvalles.com. And if you don't get a confirmation within a week, I would email Edurne, who is the person who will respond with you. His name is Edurne, and I'm assuming it's a man. It could be a woman, but I've conversed with this person for many years and never actually met them in person. But that would be the email you would use to if you have questions. Now, once you click on send, they're going to ask you for payment, and they used to have payment right here on the request, but I don't see it now. One of the things that I don't like about booking directly in Spain, when you don't know who you're booking with, is they want you to do a bank transfer. And there's two reasons I don't like that. It makes me nervous to give someone my banking information. And in the United States, where we don't do bank transfers very often, they're expensive. It can cost $35 and up to do a bank transfer. In Spain, they do them all the time. It's really a common thing, but and maybe in other parts of Europe, but not in the United States. So if they ask for a bank transfer, I usually will email and say, hey, I'm in the United States. We don't do bank transfers. Will you take PayPal or Venmo, or can I give you my credit card number? And almost always they'll respond and take one of those. So yeah, if you get the thing asking for your bank, and if you don't mind doing a bank transfer, go ahead and do it. If you've gotten a Charles Schwab travel account or some other travel account, maybe you feel safe. I just don't like paying the fee. The fee is more than the reservation, so it's just not worth it to me. Once you've paid and get your confirmation, you're good for Roncesvalles. So that's the first place I'd book. I'd get on booking.com to book Saint Jean Pied de Port. You'll find a lot of gîtes there. Your choices, if you don't want to walk the full stage the first day, and unless you're an athlete, I strongly suggest you break that up into 2 days. Your two choices are Orison and the new albergue, which is Borda. I believe Orison only has 8 spaces in the albergue. They have overflow, which means you're going to walk up that 8 kilometers from hell to Orison, and then they're going to send you back down a kilometer to sleep at their big place where they stuff in more pilgrims. Then for dinner, you're going to have to walk up again. So to me, that's a no-go. Borda, which is the new one, which is open. I've never stayed there, but I've heard glowing reviews. They will serve you for a price, and it seems like a high price, but consider you're getting breakfast, you're getting dinner, and you're getting a bed. And the beds aren't just bunk beds. There are bunk beds, but they're little cubbies with curtains that close so you have some privacy. I think it looks really nice, and I'm excited to stay there this spring. And you can contact them directly online. They have a Facebook page where you can contact them, and they also have a website where you can contact them and make your reservation. And they also may ask for payment up front. So book one of those, and then book Roncesvalles. I would book Zubiri. The municipal, if you don't mind the municipal, that's fine. I don't like the municipal there. I found it dirty. The bathrooms are dirty. If you're camping, it's no problem because you can camp out in their courtyard. But otherwise, I'd get on booking.com and book something in Zubiri. There's also a place called El Palo Avellano, which you can find online in Zubiri, which is a really nice albergue. It's a private albergue. And she has a few private rooms, but she also will book dinner, bed, and breakfast there. There are a few choices in Zubiri for breakfast before you head out. There's also a little grocery store there if you're picnicking. If you want, you can go on to La Sawana. There are albergues there that say they're open. My experience has been often they're closed. And then from there, you go on to either Trinidad de Ar or Pamplona. Once you're in Pamplona, things open up, like I said. So those are my suggestions for booking the first few stages of the Camino. I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions at all, let me know. And good luck, and buen camino.